Hello and welcome to Spokane County Spotlight. I'm Commissioner Todd Mielke, and my guests today are Mount Spokane General Manager Brad McQuarrie, Ski School Director Maxine McIntyre, and Ski Patrol Director John Nelson. Thank you for joining me today. And we are at Spokane County Spotlight. And right now what we're seeing is a forecast for our first snow. Certainly we understand snow's been falling up on Mount Spokane, which means you're gearing up for another season of skiing and snowboarding. So Brad, what are you looking forward to for this season?
Well, we're just excited to get back open. As you know, last season was a bit short, so just gave us a long pause. Lots of snow coming in the forecast here in last week and then in the future. So we're gearing up. We've got a lot to do yet to get open, but in the next couple of weeks we should be able to get pretty close to being open by Thanksgiving.
Nice, very nice. Now the ski and snowboard park keeps getting better every year, as we see all the improvements being made. But I want to start off with maybe the history of Mount Spokane, if you can share with us that perspective.
You bet. Well, I'm certainly not a historian, but I get the benefit of lots of people telling me what's happened, and there's been a lot of books written about Mount Spokane. But in my mind, other than the ancient history where the local tribes using the mountain, as far as the developed history, in 1909, Francis Cook built incredibly a road to the top of Mount Spokane and then a cabin later. So that enabled people to access the mountain. And really, I'm sure it would have happened sooner or later anyways, but I mean, to build a road in 1909 to the top of the mountain must have been an incredible feat. Mm-hmm. But that allowed people to start going up there, and especially in the winter time. In 1912, they actually named it Mount Spokane. Before that, it was Old Mount Baldy, which probably wasn't a very romantic name to get people up to the mountain. So
certainly hits home with more with some of us than others.
Well, it didn't have many trees and still doesn't up at the top. So I could see the name, but it just probably didn't instill people to drive up there on this new road. So in 1927 became a state park at 1,500 acres. So now it's 14,000 acres, one of the largest state parks. And that acreage was purchased and donated by a lot of it by ski clubs, because it became very popular in those days to ski, and especially ski jump. So there was these folks coming over from Europe who were escaping fascism, and the local community embraced them and said, "What's this skiing thing? Let's go. I've got an old car and we'll get up there." And so they used this road and got up to the park, and these ski clubs started to grow and form, and they started building rope tows and a lodge up there, and it just really started this trend of skiing all across the country. But Mount Spokane was one of the first ski areas in the entire country.
Well, and certainly the ski clubs were a big integral part of that, not only in the development of the first lodge, but also a lot of the attractions, as you've just alluded to.
You bet, you bet. They built many different rope tows. There's 3 different ski clubs, but built the original lodge, and then and we're adding on to it and growing the sport through the community and word of mouth, and it really made Mount Spokane become what it is today.
So when we talk about the lodges maybe at Mount Spokane, certainly the location of the current lodge is not the location of the original lodge. So where did this all start?
You bet. You got that correct. I'll try to keep it all straight. But in 1940, these ski clubs built a lodge on the northwest side of the mountain, actually at about 5,000 foot elevation, which is quite a ways up the mountain. There's the Vista House at the very summit, and that was a fire lookout, but below that was the original lodge in 1940. And as skiing grew, that lodge was just packed all the time. So state parks in 1950 said, let's build an addition onto that lodge so we can accommodate more folks. So they built this 3-story addition, and then the day before, I've heard, or maybe very shortly before its grand opening, it caught fire and burned down. So, and one person, the electrician who was in there working, ended up perishing in the fire.
Okay.
So that changed the whole face of that of the mountain, because they ended up having to move to a new location down below where they could build something temporary that year, because we're talking in January during the ski season, and they couldn't get back up to that location to build anything. So they built a temporary lodge, which we call now Lodge 1, and that's back towards the the south end of the mountain, and it's currently still there.
Okay, okay. And is that the one closest to the parking area on Lodge 1?
It would be the first one you come to now as you're coming into the ski area.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's been added on to significantly over the years, and actually I can talk about it in a little bit about how we did a major remodel this year. But that changed the face of the mountain, and it gave a lot better area for learning to ski.
Okay.
And I'd refer to Maxine on that. But
I was going to say, let's make that transition, because I know Mount Spokane has always been regarded as one of the best mountains for beginners
Right.
that want to explore the sport. So let's talk about the ski school. So certainly going back to all the ski clubs, starting off with the ski schools and the original lodge. So with regard to, I guess, the burning of Lodge number 1, that certainly had an impact on the ski school.
It sure did. Lodge 2, or Lodge 1, we put, well, after World War II, ski lessons started taking off. So it was really huge in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And Lodge 1 sustained a lot of people. Below Lodge 1, they developed a great big huge learning area, and they had 2 rope tows there. And that's where all the first time, never ever skiers learned how to ski. And then they graduated up right behind Lodge 1, and there were 2 rope tows in that huge area. It's somewhat flat.
Okay.
That they learned right in there. And we had like three different ski schools. The Spokesman Review was huge, and KREM and JCPenney's got together and created another ski school. So on a Saturday or Sunday, there would be 20, 25 charter buses lined up with about 700 to 1,000 people learning how to ski. Became very popular.
Everyone
at that
learning
time.
pizza and French fries, right? Something like that.
Skis were so long that you could hardly reach the tops of them.
Okay.
And I remember I had the old leather lace-up boots and skis that I couldn't reach the tips, and old cable bindings, and I just went straight.
Yeah.
But it's progressed quite a bit since then.
Now, one of the rumors out there about the ski school is that it's one of the largest in the state.
That is correct, yes. Like I said in the beginning, there were 2 or 3 different ski schools that operated at Mount Spokane. And then when they built Lodge 2 and rearranged some chair lifts, all of the learning went over to Lodge 2, because in '77, Chair 5, the beginner chair, was built.
Okay.
So we became one single ski school, and I have about 100 ski and snowboard instructors, and we have about 40 cadets. Those are kids that are age 14 to 16. We train them to be instructors also, but they help veteran instructors with the little mini mites and mighty mites.
Okay.
And about 50% of our instructors are certified through an organization called PSIA, Professional Ski Instructors of America. And we don't have the 700 to 1,000 students anymore. We're down to about 300.
Okay.
We have all sorts of great programs for first-timers to come up and learn how to ski.
And typically the schools have both group lessons as well as individual lessons,
Correct.
depending on what people's comfort levels are.
Correct.
Okay.
You can come up to Mount Spokane on any day if you want to. We like to have reservations, so we kind of know how many private instructors we have. But
Okay. So over this time period, what changes have you seen with regard to maybe the methods for teaching and maybe the equipment? Because you referenced the big long skis.
oh yes, we've gotten a lot shorter, and the skis are shaped, and they help people be able to turn much easier without a lot of physical exertion.
Okay.
And even the terrain, we're starting a new terrain-based learning area where it helps students learn much quicker and safer, and they can progress a lot quicker.
Okay.
Yeah, it's made it easy, and you don't have to be, in super good shape. Now you just turn your feet in the direction you want to go, and that equipment and the terrain is very helpful in doing that.
Great, great. So John, I want to bring you into the discussion with regard to the ski patrol. So was the ski patrol always part of Mount Spokane, going way back to the beginning of history, or is it something that developed later?
Well, as Brad and Maxine have just pointed out, the Spokane community embraced skiing as early as it was embraced in the United States. Thanks to having that wonderful mountain next to us and the leadership of some real civic stewards.
Right.
The National Ski Patrol was formed in 1938 by a gentleman named Charles Minnie Dole. The Mount Spokane Ski Patrol was formed in 1938.
Okay.
It was the 7th applicant to the National Ski Patrol system in the country and was the 17th ski patrol admitted. But in years, we are as old as any patrol in the whole nation.
All right.
And that was, of course, shortly before World War I. Many went on to persuade the Army to form the 10th Mountain Division and served in the Dolomites in World War II, and then came back, and the National Ski Patrol and the Mount Spokane Ski Patrol have taken off ever since.
Okay. Now you guys have a couple of, certainly your big event to support the ski patrol is every fall. It's the ski swap. So talk to us about how, the resources needed to run the ski patrol, those type of activities like the ski swap that help you do that.
Well, today the Mount Spokane Ski Patrol consists of about 135 members. We are all volunteer. There's no paid people. Our membership walks from all walks of life. We have carpenters, and lawyers.
Right.
We have 3 MDs, 3 medical doctors on the patrol, 6 nurses, a number of EMTs, firefighters who provide medical guidance and medical oversight. We are all trained to the standards of the National Ski Patrol Outdoor Emergency Care System, which involves 60 hours of training and 60 hours on the mountain training. We fund all of our operations through the ski swap, and people in the community have no doubt see the big signs, and I'm sorry if they're in your yard. But for over 50 years now, that swap has been organized, and it's now been emulated around the country by other patrols, and it provides all of our funding. And it has provided funding thanks to the foresight and leadership of some of our earlier members, sufficient to build our beautiful ski patrol first aid facility, which for a volunteer organization is really extraordinary. And frankly, the caliber of our medical facility rivals that of the largest resorts in the country, Killington and Stowe and Aspen. All of these, they're all funded by multinational for-profit corporations. Their facilities don't do anything else. And thanks to the community of Spokane for supporting us year after year. But of course, the patrol and the swap feeds back into the community, because for many, many years we have now provided people an opportunity to start their children to take up skiing and to get excellent equipment at a bargain rate instead of paying brand new out of the box prices.
So the proceeds from like the ski swap, when people want to come out and participate in that event, the proceeds are used for what, the purchase of equipment for the ski patrol?
Well, yes. So our toboggans, we outfit with about 20 toboggans to transport injured skiers.
Okay.
Splints, bandages, but we also have in our first aid facility oximeters and O2 tanks and blood
AEDs.
AEDs, yeah, automatic external or automated external defibrillators. And 2 years ago, we saved a person's life on the mountain, thanks to having an AED and training in first aid. So it pays for all of that, but it has also paid for that building. And we recently put a new roof on the building, a new siding on the building, which is a state resource. It's not owned by us, it's owned by the state of Washington.
State parks, I'm
Yes.
assuming. And then are any strategic partnerships with the ski patrol? I don't know. It sounds like an extremely medically intense operation, obviously, just in case. So any strategic partnerships with the medical community in Spokane, besides those who volunteer for the patrol? I don't know if we get participation from any of the hospitals and giving you supplies or anything like that?
Well, all of the hospitals work with us mainly to return our supplies, because as anybody who's ever been injured up there knows, you know, we don't, if we put them in a splint or if we have to put them on a backboard, we send that equipment down with them. And the hospitals are very good about working with us. They are also good, there are a number of physicians who sign on for the Doctor on the Hill program, and then they can carry a radio, and in the event we have a serious injury, they're available to come and consult, because we are highly trained, but we're trained as first responders. We don't provide medical care per se, we just try and get people to qualified medical care.
Certainly.
However, the hospitals have also worked with us through the years. We've had a live video feed so that we can talk to the ER room, and of course two of our most strategic partners are the county emergency response system, the ambulance systems, and then MedStar, the helicopter. When we've saved a number of lives where people might have otherwise perished, because we are able to get a helicopter from downtown Spokane to a landing zone on the mountain in a matter of 12 minutes from the call.
So for those who are interested in participating in the ski patrol, is there a minimum age? What are the requirements for training? How much training do you provide versus how much of that do they have to have coming in the door?
You have to be 18 to patrol, because you have to make adult decisions. But we also have a great program called the Spokane or the Ski Patrol Youth or SPY program, which allows children under 18 to participate in patrol activities and to ski with the patrol. They can get emergency first care training, and they can help us respond, and they work with us on the mountain. And it's a great introduction for younger people who are interested in making some sort of a civic contribution to participate in the patrol and to ski with us. And then a number of them, well, almost all of them, go on then to join us or another patrol. And frankly, it's that sort of activity looks great on a college resume as well.
Sure. So for those over 18 that are interested in participating in the ski patrol, what does that look like?
Well, our tryout system is every spring. It's usually in March, and you can access information about that on our webpage. Just MountSpokaneSkiPatrol.com has all sorts of information. But there's two kinds of patrollers: those who are qualified to carry a toboggan, and those who call themselves toboggan free. And they are trained to the same exacting standards. In fact, a number of them are more highly qualified medically than the average patroller. But you try out in the spring, and then if you're accepted, then you go through the OEC course, which is it's roughly equivalent of an EMT training over the course of the summer. And our current group, we have 7 excellent new candidates who've gone through that. They start Thanksgiving, the Saturday after Thanksgiving now, with On the Hill programming, where they learn the mountain protocol, chair evacuation, the search and rescue. Anytime that a patroller or that a customer, the skier, doesn't show up when they're supposed to, the ski patrol in conjunction with the mountain then has a search and rescue protocol. And our patrollers will go out, and 2 years ago, I believe we had over 17 successful searches on the backside, the north side of the mountain. Because the skiing is now on the south side.
And I know we are going to have a discussion about the north side here soon.
Yeah, still do go off the backside, which is part of the reason that the patrollers are really in favor of the expansion down the backside, because every time we search for somebody, of course, we put our people at risk. Back there in the dark in the trees.
So, and then once somebody decides to participate in the program, is there a minimum time requirement that you ask?
Every patroller takes a shift, and we have, of course, the 5-day shifts and 5-night shifts for part of the season. And you have to fill 1 shift per week. So it works out to be about 18. Sometimes, if we're really lucky, 20 days on the mountain. We start typically at 7:30 in the morning for a day shift, and we sweep The two lifts that aren't night skiing, we sweep those between 3:30 and 4, so we get off about 5:30.
Got it. Okay. So Brad, I want to go back to talk about what the future of Mount Spokane looks like with regard to some of the improvements that are coming up that people can look forward to. So what does that look like?
Well, we've been very fortunate in the last 5 years to receive significant appropriations through the capital budget of Washington State, along with monies that we generate through operations, and made significant improvements to the base facilities, both lodges,
Right.
and added a tubing hill, which we haven't talked about yet, but folks who don't ski and just want to come up and enjoy the snow can go tubing. But both lodges now are almost completely remodeled. We've got a little more work to do on the main lodge, but this summer we did a new roof and carpeting throughout the main lodge, and then Lodge 1 got a complete revamp from the base up. So it's going to be, people coming up for this season, if you haven't been up during the summer and seen our work, are going to be very surprised at everything that's happened.
Okay.
And then in the near future, next summer, hopefully we'll start construction of a new guest services building down at the, right at the parking lot.
All right.
So right now, the main lodge.
I'm assuming the ski school will be involved in that.
She
so
has been
excited.
involved since.
Guest services.
She's been pushing me to get that going for about 20 years, and actually has done a bunch of fundraising herself and the ski school to make that happen.
Okay.
So that'll be a great new building down at the parking lot that folks can just drive up to. It's a better sense of arrival, drop their kids off right there and know that they either go into daycare or into the ski school programs right from the parking lot. Now moms will park their car, or dads, and hike their kids up to the lodge and make sure they're okay while their car's down there running in the parking lot. And it's a hike up.
Right.
So it'd just be a lot better sense of arrival and facilitate our programs a lot better.
Okay.
So look for that next summer. But this year, here in a couple weeks, as soon as we open, everybody will see significant improvements. And then there's our train expansion, which is part of the master plan we've been working on since 2003.
Right.
Last November, we received the commission decision that allowed us to move forward, and we've been working with Spokane County the whole time since, and
yes.
very near receiving our permits. So.
Okay.
We're hoping actually in the next week or so to receive permits from Spokane County and move forward on that train expansion. So.
I'll see what I can do. And what's the anticipated time frame for opening that new terrain expansion?
You bet. Well, if we can get started this month actually, or this winter, and we can cut in the chair line, that'll allow us to do the surveys next summer and actually get the chair in. If we miss that window of, it's complicated, but there's some different construction windows. I'm hoping that for the beginning of, well, even this season, we'll be able to ski some of the runs back there. We'll groom them out, and we'll have ski patrol at the top and the bottom, making sure that people are safe and know where they're going, because there won't be a lift to go to just yet, but you can traverse to Chair 4 and get out.
Okay.
And then next summer, we may be able to finish all the other trails and put in the lift, but it may be 2017 before it's fully turnkey operational.
So if might get some exposure to it to be at the tail end or second half of the season, and then hopefully we're looking for something for next season. Now, does the ski school then also do they just stay in one part of the mountain, or will they also see some activity over there as well?
With that new terrain expansion, I will be able to move our students who have come once or twice, and I can take them up into an area that is very gentle terrain, so we can get them out of that busy area and move them into this new area. So hopefully our ski school will even grow larger.
And even with this terrain expansion, for those, as you mentioned, Mount Spokane State Park is one of the largest in Washington State. And even with the terrain expansion, I think I read something that the Nordic area still represents a small fraction. Is it like 10% of the park?
The Alpine area is about 1,400 acres total, and that includes the Pasea is what it was, the expansion area.
Right.
And the whole park is 14,000 acres. So yeah, it's a very small portion of the overall park.
Okay. Well, we're down to just the last few minutes. A couple points that I did want to mention is, as you alluded to, Mount Spokane serves a lot of winter interest beyond just the alpine skiing. And so you mentioned the tubing park. What are the other amenities that are available for those that maybe alpine skiing is not their forte? Is it the tubing park?
The tubing hill, snowshoeing has become very popular.
Okay.
And there's some excellent trails now. And the Friends of Mount Spokane group built a nice destination little cabin that you can go to now snowshoeing. That's great. You can go up to the Vista House if you,
Right.
which is quite a elevation gain, couple thousand feet. But and then there's the Nordic area, which has
Right.
also received funding this year for significant improvements, at least designing significant improvements. And the ski patrol also patrols the Nordic area too, keeping those folks safe.
And I have to say, my head of my Nordic patrol would hurt me if I didn't suggest that they also patrol and are always looking for qualified candidates if people might be interested in that.
Okay. So we're just down to the last couple of minutes, and so certainly for families with a variety of interests, they can head to the mountain and like I say, if they're not all agreeable on one activity for the winter, they can split up and reconvene for lunch and enjoy the entire day up in Mount Spokane. Before we go, what I would like to do is certainly, if people want more information about Mount Spokane, it's mountspokane.com. Is that correct?
That's correct, mtspokane.com. And that's a great website and great resource and links to a lot of the other activities around the park as well.
Okay. And the other thing is, for those interested in learning to ski, there's is it the 1-2-3 program?
1-2-3 Easy Ski program. It's $120 or less, and 3 lessons, 3 lifts, 3 rentals, anytime they want to come up, and then when they complete it, they get a $99 season pass for the remainder of the year.
Okay, and they can also find information on that.
That's correct.
On the website as well. And then season tickets. Do you want to talk about season tickets and any promotions you have going?
Probably the big promotion now would be stocking stuffers leading into the holiday stretch here. Lots of $99 packages that are great for gifts for any age. So
Okay.
yeah, go to the website or just give us a call. All of the information's there, and we've got full staff in snow sports, our offices every day. So
as we start thinking about Christmas ideas, go to the website, check it all out. And again, we anticipate the season to begin Thanksgiving weekend. Got our fingers crossed.
I would love to be open by Thanksgiving weekend. Get those kids home and up to the mountain.
All right. Well, I'm afraid we're out of time. But for more information about Mount Spokane Ski and Snowboard Park, lessons, or the Ski Patrol, go to mountspokane.com and think snow. I'd like to thank my guests, Mount Spokane General Manager Brad McQuarrie, Ski Patrol Director John Nelson, and Ski School Director Maxine McIntyre. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Todd Mielke, and thank you for joining us for Spokane County Spotlight.